Hello, how are you now? It's Nezo, coming back at you with another video from a new series I'm starting of installs and stuff like that. Building things with my hands. So what you're looking at, this is new and fresh and very expensive. You see the price there, $320. This is Canadian dollars because I'm in Canada. This is Canadian pricing. And you're wondering why is this so expensive? Well, this is the M1-RAC. This is the MC-1 rear A-arm conversion set. And when I say set, I mean a set. We're going to open this up. But it is literally, yeah, a whole set. We got the suspension mounts, also known as toe blocks. We have upper rear arms, lower rear arms, and Reve-D's own rear uprights, knuckles, essentially. This is for active rear toe. So this is literally a whole rear end. Finally, a complete rear end set by Reve-D. So, I'll explain why this is both not worth it and worth it all at the same time. It kind of depends where you are in your Reve-D upgrade path, so to say. I'll get my trusty comp car out here now to help demonstrate before I unbag and install this. This is what this is going on. This is going on this car. This is my competition car, also known as Nicky the Truck. It's a Ford F-150 body. But I painted it myself. Proud of it. Anyways, let me take the body off. And I'm hoping to improve this car's drivability, even though it's already doing pretty good. Got me third place at a competition at Elite Drift Shop last year. Shout out to the Quebec boys, Elite Drift Shop. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Ça va bien, ça va très bien. As per this. I'll throw a little French in there here and there, even though my French isn't that good. I'll say hi to the boys in Quebec at Elite Drift Shop. Anyway, so I'll be heading to Strictly Sideways later today. And this is my comp car. It's got a good amount of Reve-D parts in the front end, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is replace this entire rear end. Entire rear end suspension hardware minus the shocks. And increase the rear end. How can I say this? Brain's kind of stopping functioning. Increase my rear tunability. That's what I was going for by adding rear active toe. So it's a big upgrade, and this is where for some of you it will be way worth it because I am replacing Yokomo suspension mount toe block. I'm replacing the lower arm, the Yokomo knuckle, and the upper link, which in this case it's just the link. But in the active rear toe setup, it's a whole upper arm design. So I'm replacing quite a lot of hardware. So getting an entire rear end by taking out a whole rear end. So I'm going from all the Yokomo rear end to all Reve-D. So that's a big upgrade. That's where it's worth it. A couple of my other buddies are at the point where they already have Reve-D lower arm and they have Reve-D knuckle, and they don't have the toe block. So they only have like half of this, like 3/4, so to say, of the parts. However, the parts in this kit are new design and a little more refined, I would imagine. And also the release of their toe blocks, their suspension mounts, Reve-D. So if you already have a good amount of the stuff, that's where it's kind of like not as worth it, but it's still an upgrade. So it's like in the long term, it's worth it. Right now, it's kind of hard to justify it for some people. Some of my buddies were already saying that, and they're going to wait if they get it. They mostly want to see the performance upgrade. They want to drive it and stuff like that. So a couple of us are going to get ours going today. I'm literally going to do mine right here, right now. So let's go. This is an unbag and install. Yes. So I'm actually pretty keen to see the difference because I have the Yokomo rear end. I really want to see the difference. I mean, active rear toe will make a big difference just by itself, because as the suspension compresses, if you set your toe in to say 2 degrees, as it compresses and moves side to side on your drift, the idea is when the weight say shifts to the right here, like this to the right hand, your tire will go out straighter, and vice versa under loading. So that's what the active toe does, active rear toe. All right, so here's some bags, and they've labeled them really nicely. I like this. This is good. Bag 1, Bag 2, Bag 3, Bag 4. These are the suspension bushings, which they do sell these now, so you also get these as well. So that's another thing you're going to get, because they do sell these separate, so this is good. So they give you the full tuning option within the toe block, the two suspension mounts toe blocks, for the front, rear, and rear of the area of the car. And they give you brand new ball cups. That's nice. And these are designed as per the SX3 spec, which is what I have sitting on this car right here. See that? So yes, that's what that is, and that's good. So this is the newest design ball cup. So that's that. And if we look through the parts, bag 1 is the suspension mount toe block. And what some of my colleagues have already said, they're actually really surprised that that the logo Reve-D isn't engraved anywhere on the part, because that's usually a thing. So they're surprised about that. Maybe the next versions will. Reve-D, this is the rear upper arm and other suspension mount. It's very nice. Look at that. Keen to get these on. See how it looks on my rear end, even though I was trying to keep a purple motif on my car. I'll do other things purple. This is bag 3. Yeah, look at that. Bearings already installed, and you do get bearings in there. You see that? See, those are bearings? That's a nice touch. So you do get bearings to go for that. That's very nice. I like that. And the rear knuckle for the rear active toe. It looks really good. It does look pretty good. And it doesn't even say on those, really, but they're going to be buried inside the wheel. But still, it looks good. So bag number 4. So 4 bags. It shouldn't take too long, but I am going to just sort of take my time here. Now, if we look at the papers, what is this? Development view of rear A-arm. In other words, this is what you'd call the exploded view. So this is good. So you can see literally how everything goes together. And what I was looking at with some friends last week when I picked this up, or on Saturday, I think it was, 3 days ago. Option parts, the titanium ball stud, and option parts, there's the ball stud again, the Reve-D titanium turnbuckle. So there's option parts. You can get the option part. This part actually isn't a full turnbuckle. This is the stud piece that goes in for the ball cup on the lower side. So it's like a half turnbuckle thing. I forget the actual name for it. But anyways, that's an option part in titanium, and then turnbuckles. Turnbuckle here and turnbuckle up here. So that's a 16 mil, 24 millimeter, and this guy in here, the special block turnbuckle, stud turnbuckle, I guess, stud buckle, 20 mil, and that's that. So they give you exploded view. Now some of these other parts that are grayed out, like the bearings here, those will come out of the car. So they'll come right out of your own car. Other pieces, I know somewhere, I read something somewhere in another similar installation manual. It said it was a Yokomo manual, and it said use parts currently in use. So generally that should work, unless somebody has started to use like sort of not off-brand parts. I shouldn't say wrong. I was going to say wrong, but I mean off-brand. Like if you got a Yokomo car and you're using like an Eagle turnbuckle, like it'll work, but it ain't like the most correct, so to say. So when you put option parts on, it should work, but if it doesn't, then you're going to have to get the correct on-brand part, like a Reve-D or a Yokomo, to match your conversion kit and what have you. And then the other piece of documentation is the instructions. We're going to need this, so we just take a look at this real quick. I'm just going to do a little reading. Bulk up. Bag. So this, yeah, I like the instructions. They're looking pretty good. It looks pretty straightforward. They give you a huge chart down here for the suspension mount. See that? So that's really nice. So you can really calculate your width on what you're gonna do. I'll probably try to set mine, with the toe in setting, the initial toe in before. It's like width / toe in this case, because this is an active rear toe. So you gotta you have to set it at some point, and we're gonna read this through. But you set it in some way. It'll look down here. So it looks like these bush mounts. I'm imagining we install the bush mount with the hole straight in line, because we're gonna be adjusting it on the active rear toe side. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, look, I can see here that hole there looks pretty straight on, like pretty dead even in the bushing. So I'm wondering if that's a thing. Now, somewhere in here, normally they say how to how you should adjust it or install it. So once we like really dive into it, I'm just scanning through the instructions. This is the other side. I flipped it over now. Bag 3, bag 4. The instructions look pretty good, so that's good. You always need like clear, well written, well explained instructions, because otherwise you're just kind of guessing by the picture. Alright, so let's build things. So first I'm going to build up all this. We'll build up all this and then I'm going to install it on the car. Depending on how my camera goes, I might have to split this into 2 videos. I'm hoping not. I want to do it all as one. So, got my trusty instructions here. Alright, so that's the wrong side. Bag 1. Right, well, let's just move a few things here. These can go over there. Do I need these right away? Yes, I will. Oh yes, making turnbuckles. Fun. I wanted to say, sorry, the turnbuckles, I believe you do get those. Yes, you do. Right there. So the option part is the titanium, but you do get the standard aluminum turnbuckle. So, alright. Bag 1. Now off to the side here, that's a staple, let's get rid of the staple. Off to the side here, I got my trusty little magnet tray. That's Cow RC. Very handy. You can get really, really huge ones. I have one at my pit space at the track. As per track mechanic mode, the idea is drop it in there and its magnet stays in there. Good, right? So that's what we're going to do here. Let's maneuver all this stuff over here. Bag 2, bag 3, bag 4. Off to the side. Now, what are we supposed to do here? We're supposed to make ball cap medium. M for medium, so we're going to make 12.2 millimeter. Now, this doesn't look to scale, obviously, so that's going to be difficult. If you don't have a caliper device, you don't have a caliper to make your 12.2 millimeter turnbuckle, right? That's going to be a little bit difficult, but just use a ruler or something. Okay. Yeah, I wish they would have done that, made it to scale. That would have been nice. That's always handy when they do that. That doesn't always happen. Alright, and we gotta get the toe. Okay, so I'm gonna imagine this is a 2 millimeter. And you might see my head pop in and out of shot. It look really funny, right? Tell me how many gray hairs I've got up there in that particular area if I put my head on shot, just because I'm leaning in to read. So I'm gonna make the turnbuckles last. I want to get these pieces. Okay. Now I like to use Loctite, and I'm gonna have to get it over my thing. Bear with me. What do you think? What do you think so far? Since what you've seen, I like Loctite, blue Loctite. It's just to prevent things from coming out on track, because it does happen. We're all starting to boost our cars like all the time. Here's the suspension mount, and thus boosting the cars. We are, well, not all of us, but every now and then a part comes loose. So usually when it doesn't have Loctite on it, and you just have to dab a little dabble on it. You see that? Whoop! Can you see that little blue dab there? That's it. That's all you need. A little blue dab, and that'll help you. So this is going on the top part. Right, finger tight torque. You don't even have to torque it that much. Whoop. Done. That's one. So I want us to install the ball studs on the toe block. Or install 2 ball studs on the toe block. If you put too much blue Loctite, just dab it off with your finger or a paper towel. Because you just put a little dab, and then as you screw the ball stud or the screw into the aluminum or metal, it will spread throughout. Come out. There we go. This tool's getting old, but it still works good. Dynamite. Alright. So that's installed. And then all I gotta do now is make turnbuckles. And I need to grab my other little tool, which I thought I already had out. Bear with me. These are little ball cup wrenches. They're by 3 Racing. Really good. One of the best things to come out of the 3 Racing plastic tool set / Sakura kits is those tools. I love them. Having said that, I need my other... You always forget what tools you might need in the moment. Okay, so ball cup stud, or ball cup stud, ball cups, and here we are. Use a knife or scissors, or be the Hulk and rip it open yourself. Personally, I like to use scissors and glide it through the plastic. Satisfying. Alright, get the ball cups out. Now they're calling for the medium one. And if I look at this tree, the way this tree is, these will be the short, S. These are the M, medium. And these are the L, long. So, we'll get into the long ones later, I think. I think those ones will be for the active rear toe link. That's my guess. I could be wrong. Oh, no, these ones are for the active rear toe link. Okay, so medium. So, I want medium. My setup board is already marked up and everything like that, and I use it kind of like a cutting board, which I shouldn't, but it's okay because I have several. This one's got a huge dent in it, look. But it's a Yokomo one, and it gets put to good use, so, you know, whatever. If this bothers you, me, not the chopping the ball cup off, if my cutting onto this board upsets you, look away. Oh. Using a knife for this is like the best, generally. You can twist them off, but I like to cut the little tabs that come off. Kind of, that's my thing. Okay, so those are done. Those are off. And then you don't get the burr, little burr really, in the back of it. 12.2 millimeters. And are these ones positional? No, okay. I was gonna say if these are the position, some of them have the one side is a little bit more recessed than the other, so it's a little bit more back. These don't really look like it. They look about the same. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna install these. So what I usually like to do, make one. You kind of like if they're saying 12.2 millimeter between these two things, so I'm gonna kind of guess first. This is my extendo wrench. It's basically just a 2-piece, but it's really handy because you can hold the whole thing and do this. This is how I hold the ball cup stud, or ball cup stud, turnbuckle. Put the turnbuckle in this extendo wrench, and ball cup wrench by 3 Racing. It's got 2 sides, see, a slot and a big cup, so this I can use the slot or the big cup. Yeah, we'll go big cup. Ooh, get in there, yeah. Okay, now I'm just gonna get it on, say put it on about halfway. If your fingers don't cooperate with you, this is where this is tricky stuff. And I wish this had an indication of which side it was on. Which side is which. Some have a little line built into the turnbuckle so you can tell which side is normal thread and which side is reverse thread. Now I'm on reverse thread. It has to be this way. One side has to be normal thread, one side has to be reverse thread. Otherwise, when you adjust it on the car, it won't rotate correctly. So there, let's see, that's almost about even. I'll just try and even this out. Yes. Okay, so now is where we measure it, and they want 12.2 millimeter in the middle of this thing. So 12.2 millimeter. 12.8, and I guessed, so I just eyeballed it. 12.8. So here's a trick I come up with. Grab two turnbuckle, or 2 wrenches, slot in through the ball cups. You can't do this with all of them, but you can do this with most. And you can even hold them if you need to. It gets a bit tricky, but this is one way I figured out how to do this. So then you can adjust this as if it were on the car. That's the wrong way, this is the right way. I'm trying to shrink it, so... Oops, rock the camera. Okay, now, and you can also even measure it right here. It's kind of handy, this trick. Can't do this with them all, but you can do it. 12.02, so they wanted 12.2. Let me go back. And sometimes it's only half a crank you need. 12.5, see? Too much. Okay, so... Quarter crank if. 12 point... What? Look at that. 12.28. 12.3. 28. Okay, close enough, honestly. Close enough just so I can speed this along. Now, let's pre-thread this guy on there. Sometimes you can just grip it, but my fingers aren't that strong. You can just grip the thing like this with your bare hand. My fingers usually give out pretty quickly. So then, once you have one, you can then kind of line it up by eye. You can judge off the other, the first one you've just finished. Because then, once you measure it, you're more than likely to be pretty close. And when you start making these all the time, then you get pretty good at it. In the sense of you'll start nailing your measurements within the first try or two. A little more. I'm gonna go faster this time. Pretty much I'll demonstrate one and then I'll speed the other part. So let's see, how close are we? Let's see how close. Yeah, so I gotta go more. Okay, we'll use this so we can speed it up. If I'm not talking, it's just because I'm concentrating. That's the wrong way. Alright, go in. Oh. Go in. Judging by this other one, this isn't also not even. And this is also a trick. Look at this. Whee! Whoops. I was just trying to even those out a bit. Now let me measure this because I don't know where we're at with this one. 12.5. 12.6. One way, this way. I think I went too far, that's why I backed up. Do that right. Come on. This is a little off. I'm only doing this because the turnbuckle looked a little uneven, so I'm just trying to even it out. 12.2, 12.2, nailed it. The other side will be a bit off, but that's okay. Okay, those are done. Now they want you to attach these right quick and set it up so you have like you have a half like that. Okay. Now, how easy are these to do by hand? Because usually I always end up using pliers to pop these on. Oh, they go on easy with fingers. My fingers generally don't have a lot of jam in them. Oh, that was easy. Okay, good. Some of them, they're so stiff when I get them on, it stings my finger. Okay, so that's that. We can turn that thing off. There's bag one, step one completed. Hey, okay. Now, they want you to throw that on the car right away. I'm not going to do that. But I think I'm going to have to start... let's just take a look. When will I have to do that? Rear arm, rear arm. Very much have to start doing that right away. They're showing it here without the shock tower and all that. But I'll remove the shocks right out. And I have to change the upper arm mount. So I gotta change a couple pieces, it looks like. Okay, so why don't I'm gonna then, you know what? I should have just taken the car apart first. Alright, so anyways, let's take the car apart. So I gotta take the rear end apart completely. Where'd my pliers go? Oh, oh goodness. Pliers! Oh, they were here. Oh. You know that feeling when you know you have tools around and they've just gone for a little walk? That's what happened to my little pliers. Yep. Okay, we'll use the big pliers then. Come on. Quick way to get these off. Now where'd my little pliers go? Oh, I'll find them. Alright, rear shocks off. And take the rest of this rear end apart. And move some things out of the way, it looks like. Power cap's in the way, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. I'm going to have to take my wheels and stuff off, so let me get out my power drill. Save time here. Oh boy. 1.5 mil pleat. Ouch. Please. Okay, you know what? I can leave all that intact. I'm just going to take all of this off. Come on. Oops. I'm just using pliers to save time. It does leave marks in my ball cups, but whatever. It's just plastic ball cups. Okay, so now I just gotta take the bottom end apart. And because I'll slowly take pieces off all of this assembly, the rear end assembly, as I need them. Alright, now I'm gonna flip my car over. Because I'm gonna do this so that. Wait! Where are you going? Don't be like that. It's balancing on the fan, really. There's my bumper. And okay, I can take this all apart now. Ugh, crack it. There we go. See how I throw the screw just into the mat and it pretty much just stays in there? That's the idea with that. Alright, pull this off. There's my 1 mil spacer. I'll probably put those back on. We'll see anyway. See what the instructions call for. There's my toe block. Come on. That came right out. Excellent. Put this in here because it always falls apart. And this side. Bang. Oh, the bushing came out too. I'm probably gonna need that piece in there. I'll just put it over there. And you can go over there. Okay, that's the other rear arm. That bushing half fell out. I'll take this toe block out now. Come on, come on. This one is underneath the transmission, so I don't know if this will slide right out or not. We're going to find out. Oh, yes. Okay. A little bit dirty, eh? I even blew the car off before this. This car gets a lot of use, you know, so, okay, so the rear end is completely out now. The rear suspension. Nothing there but just the rear transmission. Alright. Now, yeah, these pieces are going to get changed too, I think. These mounts right here, it looks like. It looks like those are going to get changed anyway. So, I'm going to just take a Kleenex and kind of just clean around this area because it's pretty dirty. This dirt would not come off with the air, so I'm going to give this car a proper bath at some time. Whoops, knocked the camera. At some point, but not yet. It's got work to do today. We ain't got time for a bath. We just got time for to get cleaned by a compressed air nozzle. Alright. So I'm going to install that part back on this car now. It doesn't say to put the bushings in yet, so. Alright, so the screws that I took out are the screws I'm going to put back in. I'm going to put some Loctite on them. So far so good, eh? Alright. Now I just gotta route this thing through. Okay. That's in there. Let's flip the car sideways. Where is it? And you know what? Nope. This turnbuckle has found a weird hole. Okay. Alright, first I gotta line the hole up here. So I can't even see it. There we go, okay. Do it this way, manually line the hole up. I was gonna try and find it with the power driver first. Found it. Okay, let's just put a little zip into it. And now, next one. Don't even. Alright, come in. Alright, that's in. Okay. Alright, that part's in. Ugh, turnbuckle. There we go. Hey! We see it? There we go. That's in. That looks pretty nice. That's just gonna clear the battery mount, it looks like. And yeah. Okay, that looks good. That's done. Now we gotta build the lower arm. Alright. Just looking at it here. Okay, let's move that out of the way. This is what we're on to. Okay, bag 2. I'm going to move the car out of the way. Alright, so those are parts out of my old car. Off the I should say old setup. That one hole will be for the new stuff. This parts look pretty good, eh? Here's the upper arm, or sorry, lower arm, and the other suspension mount. Looks pretty good. I like the logo. The logo looks really nice. Ah. Okay, so get these going. Okay, looking at this, L engraved. The right side will be similar, so we'll just piece the parts, slot mount, and this is the arm piece, 2, and that. So that'll go like that. I'm just lining them up. That's pretty assembly. So cap screw, M2x8 cap screw. Ooh, there's two sizes. There's a small one and a large one. By 5 and by 8. So by 8 by 8 and by 5. Okay, so 5 goes there, the 8s go there. So the 5s are the small boys. I'm gonna definitely put dabble Loctite on these ones because these are small. These come out, you'll probably never find them. If they come out on track, yeah, you'll probably never find them. Pretty sure there's a good chance you will never find them. If you do, then you're really lucky in my eye. So we'll put this in not tight at all because we have to set a setting later. Just in there. The Loctite won't harden for a bit, so we got time. If I have to, later I'll redo the Loctite. No big deal. Alright. Now, putting this arm together. And there's a little lock piece, sort of locking piece that designates how this will slot in. So make sure you pay attention when you're placing this arm. See how it's swinging? It ain't swinging no more. So that's nice. That's nice that not only bolts in, bolts in with 2 screws, but also has a little locking little piece there. Good. Oops. Dabble Loctite. Get it snug. Good. And ball stud S. Yes. 2 mil. It's a 2mm driver, and they want you to put it in the middle. Okay. For the default setting, I'm going to go with default settings until I do some driving. All right, that. This is that. Oh, it is. It's like a double threaded, but it's 2 different thread sizes. I thought this would be a full stud, but it isn't. So that means that means that threads into there. Ooh, that's more precise. Yeah. So this threads this. Focus. Yeah, there we go. This threads into there. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so, but because it's clamped, I'm not going to Loctite it. It's a clamp style. So it wants 8.7mm, and it looks like that is pretty. The S cup will be pretty tight up onto here. So that's this cup, S cup they want. So I'm gonna chop off 2 of these guys. There we go. All right. Is this the reverse thread? Yeah, okay. Now, is this 4mm? Yep, okay. So 4mm bit. I don't think it'll like matter too much how close you get this in. I'm imagining they want you to thread this bulk up pretty much all the way on. The picture makes it look really close. Like the picture makes it look like this, really. Like super close. Okay, so I'm gonna go with roughly that. It's like you're seeing like 5 or 6 threads exposed, maybe. We'll go with that because 8.7 mil, and then you can set it inside of this arm. So, all right, let's get that in there. So if I make it look like the picture, well, it looks kind of like this. Okay, if I just use my eyes and just guess based on the illustrations, I'm gonna go with this length, and I'm now, when I measure it, let's see how good my eyes were. Millimeters, 8.7, in between the turnbuckle and arm. My setting, 7.26. So, just by tweaking this outwards, a whole 180 degree turn, 7.6, a bit ways to go, 8.4. How much more turnbuckle do I got there? Okay, so, alright, what I'm going to do is take the turnbuckle out a little bit more. Oh, outward. Yeah, let's go with it a little bit more out. About that much. Because then it'll make the adjusting here at the arm better. It'll leave more of the thicker turnbuckle inside the arm. 9.19. Honestly, I'd rather have more thicker turnbuckle inside the arm. Where are we here? 8.6. 8.9. Okay, so if it's to be, it's like, might as well just clamp this down now, because that's roughly the area. It was between 8.6 and 8.9 on my turns there, so if I crank that down and make that solid, then I measure this, 8.6, 8.7, right? You know what? What do they want, 8.7? 8.69, okay, it's close enough. I'm going to leave it like that, so it's roughly what it is. I'm going to be adjusting it anyway. But that's roughly what it'll look like, so now I can do this a slightly different way. I should have done it a different way at the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to build this second one much quicker. Here we go. Just so I can get on. Alright, where's that next screw? There we go. Alright, snug those in, leave this one loose. And then, yeah, bring this arm here so I can visually judge roughly how far I gotta stick that in. What does that look like? About 6 threads. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty close. Alright. Put that in. Take this guy on. And when I tighten that, now when I crank this, life will be a lot easier. And this is the opposite thread. You can also put the bulk up screw right in the bulk up wrench by 3-racing. Come on, get on. Yeah, it's this way. Come on. It wasn't biting. There we go. And if I crank this down to roughly the same length, oops. Let's see. 8.93. Okay, so let me just adjust that down. Oh, other way. So you can do it this way too, where you get the measurement as you want it. I don't know if that was in shot or not. 8.76. It's pretty close. Yep, okay, so good enough. There's our rear ends installed. Or rear arms created, not installed. So then they want you to install these right on the car. And now I gotta pay attention to suspension bushings. So it looks like suspension mount bush A has no positional mounting on this. Like it's just a straight middle. It's the 4s, the number 4s. Direction of bushings. E. Oh, I see. Okay, so they're not 4s, they're A's. So it's bushing A, which is benign all the way through. I say benign because it's the holes are right in the middle. They're not directional. So you have the option of changing them to directional, but bushing A is just a straight shot. Yeah, okay. So we got to put those in the front side of the car and put them in these. Let's open these up now. So it's nice that they give you suspension bushing A and then do give you the option bushings. Woo! Knock the camera, sorry. They give you the option. Well, what happens if I just prick these off? Still get a bit of a burr. Chop them off. Sometimes I open things with knives. Okay. A. Keep those for the option. Now, this is going to get A. I'm going to make sure to put the letters straight up and down. But that's what it shows in the manual. Even though they're dead center pretty much, see? Those are bushing A. See that? A. Okay, so this is going on the outside, the rear of the car. And the other one's going in the inside. Okay, so now things are going to get interesting. Those over there. Car, please. Now, I gotta put those bushings in. Get the A standing up. Oh. Okay, bushings are in. Now for the spacers. They want a 3mm spacer towards the front side of the rear. And then 2 3mm plus a 2. So that's 3, 6, 8mm worth of spacers behind the rear arm. Okay. Excuse me. And then the ball pieces. Pillow ball, I think what we call them. I gotta dig them out of this old part here because we're gonna need them. Yeah, these pieces. Oh, you booger. These pieces you will reuse. You will reuse that from your previous suspension. So make sure you don't lose them. So I have one right there. Another one is sitting in. Well, they're all sitting in here. Okay, I gotta take them out. So the install seems pretty straightforward so far, to be honest. That's good. My hands are getting dirty from all the track dirt. You'd be surprised how much dirt you pick up on even like a smooth concrete track. Okay. Now it looks like the pins, yeah, the pins you will reuse as well. Should have noted that. So your pins and your ball pieces, your pillow balls, you'll reuse. Okay. Now, let's do this. So I need the pillow ball. Okay. Pillow ball. I'm going to put this together all as one. Pillow ball, a 3mm, so it's a thick one. 3mm. Then the L for the left side. So that. Then two 3mm. 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 Okay. Then a 2mm. Bang, 2mm, and then the pillow ball, because this will then go into the rear end. So, and a pillow ball. Bang. So that's what it should look like. Okay, you see that? 3mm, 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 2mm. Pillow balls on the end. Very nice. Now I'm going to create the other one real quick, just because I want to move along. Okay, pillow ball. Ah! I yanked all the spacers off there. All my beautiful work undone. Track mechanic, bad shot. Okay, there we go. So those are the arms, ready to go in. See that? Now, this is ready to go. Okay. And here we go. Left side. In. Hanging loose. Right side. In. Hanging loose. Inserting into the pillow ball. Inserting into the pillow ball. Good. And reuse your 2mm screws previously that you took out from your other suspension setup. Oh, I hit the camera, sorry. I've hit it a couple times now, I think. Maybe we can have an active running counter of how many times I whack the camera. I gotta come up with a better camera setup. And I will, eventually. Alright, let's install this. I flip the car over onto its side. Line the hole up. This time I'm going to use my driver to help me here. Oh, I think I got it. Ah, nailed it. Okay. I'm going to use my manual driver, I should say. Alright, now that I've found the holes, use my trusty power driver with a locking clutch. And install this side. Okay. Now, always check and make sure your suspension moves freely. Do you see this? Flip the car over here. Always check after suspension or any kind of component that has to move on your chassis. Check for free movement. If you don't have this kind of free movement, you're going to have binding and you're going to have a weird, mushy, benign, pooey feeling suspension. All the 50 weight and 6-hole, 12-hole, 3 million hole pistons won't save you. Okay? So just make sure stuff moves freely. They always forget to write that in. Alright, so those are installed. That's bag 2 complete. And I did forget to do one thing, which was put on the ball stud on the right side arm. So let's do that. Make life even easier because it's already on the car. This one. Install it in the middle. And away we go. Installed. Okay. Alright. Now, we move on to bag 3. This is the upper side, is it? Yes, and we have to change. I have to change the upper arm mounts. That's no big deal. It'll be interesting to try and get that out of there. Okay, so I have to take those out. So let's take those out. Put those back in. Just me doing the work here. This is us removing the rear upper arm link, or upper suspension link, so to say. This piece. This is the piece we're removing because we will be changing it for another piece that looks similar but allows us to use the parts that are similarly used in the front end. Here, this sort of stuff. Hit the camera again. This stuff, right here. I have to stop hitting that camera. Look, I've knocked it out of position again. Come on. Bad shot, baby. Okay. Now, the other side. I see my battery cables are in the way. Let's just move those guys out of the way since we're not powering the car up anytime soon. Just tuck that stuff out of the way. Alright, those are out, so I have to change those parts. I'm going to bolt those in right now. Bag 3. Bag 3. Bag 3. Bolts and bits and bytes. Okay, these pieces. This is what's going to replace this. So you see the difference here? L. Yep. So, there we go. That's how it's going to go. This piece here replaces this piece over there. See that? So, okay. It looks like less tunability, but this is set up for the rear active toe. Alright, so I'm going to bolt these pieces in now, just so they're in there. Use the same screws that you previously had. Okay. The L is engraved on the underside. Actually, I'm going to manually thread these in, not with the driver. Kind of a, whoa, literally was about to say it's kind of a tight area, so be careful, go slowly. Literally what I'm doing right here. Come on. That's one. Yeah, go slowly with this part, because unless you have the rear shock tower off or you are building this from a kit, this part might be a bit tricky, just because of the location. I'm doing this on my car, which is a running car, full running gear, and had a tune on it already. So now it's going to get retuned in the rear. All right, so that fits in nicely there, actually. But, ow, looking at that. Ow. All right, right side. Get this going. The right side will be easier to get at. Oh yeah, the right side's really easy. Left side's the tricky side. Okay. Alright, that's in. Those parts are in. Those parts are in. Okay, see? Right here. Look at that. So that's what it'll look like. And on the spur gear side, there it is. Okay. So that's how those look. Now we got to build the upper arm. So they want 4.5 millimeter between. You see this? Between those pieces. And it's a locking clamp thing again, so I'll get those in. Now these come with bearings and they're already installed. That's so nice. What I'm gonna do, whoa, sorry, hit the camera. What's that, like 5 now? I'm gonna put a little bit of bearing oil at the back end of the bearings, just to give them a little bit of a wake up. It's something I always do. Just a little bit of extra jam, and you can just work the bearing oil in by doing this basically. Just spin the bearings. Let the oil work itself in. Oh, just the other way so I can spin it. Whee! Yeah, just any bearing you can do this. Ceramic or sealed bearings is a little harder, but they will go in. There we go. Okay, that's that. Just makes them a little more fluid. So the upper arm won't take as long. So all I got to do is put in the 5 millimeter cap screw. About 1.5. Getting a little bit of sunlight over there. Okay, dab a Loctite ski. I need some more actually. Oh, that was close. I almost lost that. I don't think this is magnetized. Get this and magnetize. There it is now. Yeah, magnetize your screwdrivers if you can. All you do is strike a good magnet beside it a couple times and you're done. Okay. Now, those screws are in. I'm going to put the 16 mil turnbuckle up top. And you can only get these in one way, these turnbuckles into the aluminum, because it's only threaded for normal. You'll know if you try to thread in the opposite side, the back side, or the reverse thread side, like this, see? This is reverse thread here, right here. If you try to thread this in, she'll never go in. Even if you go the opposite way, it will barely bite and it'll just kind of do this. You'll never get it in. You'll know right away. And then this, see? This is the correct side, the normal thread. Clockwise thread, I guess you could call it. Bloop. Right in. So, this is showing it real tight up, like really tight up. So, I'm going to put it like really tight up. Really close. And what I'll do is I'll lock it in place with the screw, clamp it down with the screw. Bloop. That way, when you go to do the ball cup, which they're asking for another small ball cup, where are we now? Small. Okay, I'm going to twist them off this time. Twist. Twist. Sometimes you twist and you get a large burr. Not so bad, I'll leave it for now. Either or, you can bump the camera again. So they want 4.5 millimeters. So reverse thread. Oh, that's coming out. I gotta clamp that more. I started twisting it and it wasn't clamped. Clamp it down. There we go. I thought I clamped it, but I didn't. Okay, reverse thread. Go counterclockwise. I'm gonna do this with my bare hands. Actually, no. Where's the? Every time I start doing that, my fingers start giving up. So line it up as close as you can, and then we'll do the measurement. Even if you get yourself like a not expensive caliper, it will really help out. 4.5 mil. What are we looking for? 4.5 mil. Look at that. 4.58. I'm taking that. And that was a guesstimate. Guesstimate. What a word. That was me eyeball ballparking. Alright, let's try it again. This is because I've done this for so long. But that's the thing. You build enough cars, you make enough turnbuckles, and eventually you start to just notice certain things. Okay, so this looks like it'll back off a little bit. I'm going with that. Survey says 4.9, too much. I go in, oh, I go in 1 half turn. 4.5, right? 4.59, the other one's 5.8, good enough. Taking it. I can always adjust it on the car. That's roughly what it would look like then. That's pretty much it. Nice, right? Reve-D componentry. Reve-D, Reve-D, Reve-D. How do you pronounce it? I should make a poll. How do you pronounce it? Alright, so that's the upper arm. Now we're going to screw these things in, and this is where spacings come in. Up in this section. So, I'm going to build one side and then I'll do the other side fast. So the L, and the arm is going to go on this way, the front of the car, where my finger's pointing, so it'll look like this. Now, here's the mount stud. They want it going on this way, upper arm pin they call it, and then a nylon nut on the end. So with it facing this way, okay, they want you to put on a 2mm spacer. And if you're unsure of spacer, like their sizing or whatever, get your thing out, your caliper. Put a spacer in between. See, the one I just stuck in there is a 1mm. So a 2mm, 1.95. It's a little out of calibration. I just got to hit the 0 button again, but they're calling for a 2mm, so that's the 2mm, the slightly thicker boy. So 2mm up front, then you put the arm on. Way 2mm, then you put the arm on. Okay. Then they want 2.5s, so that's really thin. A really thin guy. Okay, 0.46, so it's a 0.5. That's a 0.5 right there. Can you even see it? There it is. 0.5. So they want 2 of those, okay? 2.5s. 0.5. Ooh, I knocked the camera again. And a 0.5. And then they want 2 1.0s, okay? 1.0. 1.0. Alright? So that's what it'll look like. 2mm, 2.5s, 2 0.5s, 2 times 0.5, and then 2 times 1.0. 0.5, half a mil, 1 mil, 2 mil over here. Okay, so then after that, they want you to put a nylon nut on. Alright? And make sure this is all lined up nice. Put your nylon nut. Now I'm going to finger thread this on just loose so I can build the other side real quick. Oh, 2mm. 2mm. The arm, 0.5 on. 0.5 on. 1.0 on. 1.0 on. Nylon nut on. Okay, make sure that these are lined up nice here, sitting nice, and you can thread this guy on a bit more. Alright, so I need me that's at a 4mm. Where's my 4mm wrench? 4mm wrench, just to hold that in place, and then I got a 5.5 here for the nut, and just do it like snug. When you do that nut just snug, beautiful, that's what you want. Okay, and you want it like that on purpose so that your suspension moves nice and freely and you get all the suspension feels. Gotta have all the feels. If you don't have the feels, there's no point. Alright, now put this one going here. Okay. See this? Whee! Oh. Whee! That's good. Just snug. Just lightly snug is a good way. Because it's a nylon nut, it's locking in nature, so it gets tighter the closer you get to being tight. Okay, so those are done. Now I gotta bolt these in, and they want these specifically here in this hole. You see this? So that's where I'm gonna put them. Put a dab of Loctite on, and away we go. Rear end of the car here. And put a dab of Loctite. Little dab ski, wipe off the excess. And away we go. I'm gonna cheat and use this to screw this all, just to thread it in, and then I'll actually use a wrench to wrench that in correct. This is just to make my life easy by getting this really close. There we go. And then I'll tighten that up with the wrench. Same for this side. The only thing left now is to disassemble the old knuckles from my old suspension, and then begin bag 4. A lot of the tuning and what have you will happen at the track, which I'm going to do some more filming later today. So midweek track day today. And so lots of test and tuning today. I'll try and do some filming. Alright, so that's that. Now, we'll torque these down. Oh, my head's bumping. Woo! That sounds good. Ugh. I got it torqued anyway. Okay, that one's in. That one's in. And there they are. The upper arms are installed. I'm going to get a look here for y'all. It's getting a little bit shadowy thanks to the natural light coming in, but there's the upper arm installed. Okay, upper arm, lower arm. That looks pretty good. Look at that. Yeah. Okay, so those are installed. Now it's just the knuckles. And the other side is right there. Yeah, okay, so that's that. Oh, right. Now for the last bag, bag number 4. And this is right. This is where we build the rear knuckles. As you can see, right? Build the rear knuckles. Let's go. And this is taking pieces out of your old rear knuckle, the bearings, the hex hub, the drive shaft. So you got to take those out of your old rear knuckles. Now, here's the right side of my old rear knuckle. Here, rear knuckle setup. Left side. Alright. So bag 4. Yeah, this natural light's starting to ruin my flow here. I might just get rid of some of this natural light. It's too much. There. That's a little bit better, but not really, so let's just keep going. I'll make a better setup in the future. But anyways, so pieces, knuckle, and all this wonderful hardware. Come on. There we go. And I really have to cut this open. Okay. Give you lots of studs anyway. All studs there. Okay, so now to build this, are these directional? It doesn't look like it. So these are like identical side to side. Okay. Yes. Alright, so let's build this up. So we need to put on this extra piece, and then so I'm going to install ball studs first. And you need to put some spacers on when you do these. Okay, so ball stud. The ball studs that go on the top and bottom of the knuckle need a, what is this, a 1.5 mil, so I want to make sure I get this correct. Calibrate, and this one in my hand is a 2 mil. So 2 mil, 2 mil, and this one should be a 1.5. Correct. That's out of calibration. Alright, so a 1.5. Okay, make sure you pay attention to that. A 1.5. And where do they want this one? In the middle. So on the top, they want it in the middle, okay? Top, middle hole. Okay? Bottom, I'll show you where they want that in a sec. And the bottom, they want a 2 mil spacer, okay? Bottom ball stud, 2 mil spacer. Top ball stud, 1.5. Make sure you pay attention to that. The car will act funny. So the bottom one, they want it on the outer hole. And I say outer because it's closer to the outer side of the knuckle. Yeah, okay, so they want it here. Okay, so they want it on the outer hole. This is the outer hole, because this is the outside of the knuckle, to the outside of the car. So they want it on the outer hole, okay? Now that I've done that, we can proceed and put this bracket on for the active rear toe. Now this bracket has several little adjuster areas on it. It's quite the piece, actually. Now, position this right, and it's showing me that we're going to put the screw on the far left side of this bracket. There's little locking kind of tabs here, which will help you put this piece into the position it should be in, I think. Yep, it's just a little, it's just a fine fit. Oh, snaps like right in. So that's that. That's where they want it, on the far left hole. Okay? Farthest left. So if I show you this, the piece, they want it on the farthest side, right here. Okay? So that's a 6mm screw. 6 mil. Screwed in. Okay. Then a ball stud in the middle of that bracket. Ball stud with no spacer, okay? So they want it in the middle hole here. You see this? Middle hole. Okay? Middle hole. See? Right in the middle. Okay. So, now, bing bong bing. That is all the pieces for one side of the bracket before you start adding in the parts from your old knuckle, okay? So I'm going to build up the other side so it's good to go. Top side they want a 1.5 mil. 1.5 mil. And let's snap this into position. So if this is this side, then we gotta build this one this way. You gotta build it opposite to what you've built previously. Okay. Oh wait, this goes on the top. My bad. On the top. Ugh. I knocked that piece off. That's okay. Don't worry about that. I wasn't concentrating fully. I was thinking I was putting the ball stud in where that piece was. Just trying to go here. Come on. Okay. And now for this, snap this piece back on. Kind of just clicks into place and then you throw the screw in it. Right. Middle hole. And away we go. Yeah, so that's how they'll look when they're done. When you've put all the pieces in the bag together, I mean. Focus, there we go. Okay. Now, we are going to install the pieces out of the old previous setup. I need my 1.5 millimeter to take off the hex hub out of my old setup here. Come on. Ugh, that fell right out. Come on. Come on. Picky. Come on. Why you no come out? And come off. Come off. Okay, it doesn't want to come off. There we go. It's on there nicely. Alright. Pin, the hex hub, the drive shaft, and the bearings you're going to need. So make sure you pop your bearings out. It's actually a good time to inspect your bearings. You know. Good time to check them out and inspect them. Ugh, come on. Sometimes you might have to just push them out a bit. There we go. There we go. They just need to be popped out. So you will not need anything else out of the rear upright after that. The old setup. I'm going to just take a quick wipe on my bearings. These need to be cleaned properly. I'm just going to wipe the excess dirt off. Okay, so let's install one here. Bearing. Quite the fit. There we go. That is precise. Wow. That's a precise fit. Oh yeah. It's precise and it fits in good. Okay, so that's that. Bang. And popped out. And installing the drive shaft. It's another good thing to check your drive shafts. This car isn't even that old, but still. Okay. And install. Oh, the pin. Pin is always fun. And install that. Tighten that screw back up. Away we go. There it is. Got my purple hex hub on it too. So that's it installed. Drive shaft installed into the axle. So I'll do the other side real quick here. Gotcha. Quick clean of the bearings. Clean my bearings a little bit on the face, because they're a little dirty. You want to be careful if you do this not to push more dirt into the thing. At some point maybe I'll do a how-to of how I clean my bearings. My other car, Miley, really does need a bearing clean / replacement. Some bearings are really wobbling around and I don't like that, but those bearings are kind of old. So when you get this in, make sure you line the bearing up really nice and straight and it will go in. I was trying to put it in on an angle before it will go in, so in. Pop that guy in there. The bearing popped out, that's normal. I've seen that a lot, no problem. In there. Pin, in you go. You make sure you try to keep the pin level and straight. It can be tricky. Well, once you get the hex hub in there, no problem. And so, that's that. Okay, now I can install it on the car. And all we gotta do, once you get to this point, is install into the ball cups and install that ball cup from the very first step into there, and then they're installed on the car, and then I will give a quick demonstration on the bench here with the wheels installed and my shocks installed. So let's go. Okay. So this is the other way. This goes like this. And these should snap in easily. Ouch. Yes. Make sure you line your drive shaft up nice when it goes in. come on. Oh, yes. Nicely done. Okay, that's that side. And I really like how these newer ball cups really work good with the fingers. Like, I can snap these in. Because most, I can't. My fingers kind of give up quick. Get that drive shaft in there. Excuse me, sir, you're a drive shaft and you go in the outer drive cup. Okay. This. And, oh, I put it in the wrong way, boys and girls. Lord. I put it in the wrong way. I have to take it out, but I don't want to mark up my brand new ball cup. Okay, cool. Yay! Nope, I gotta flip it right around. Yeah, make sure you pay attention, because I was not paying attention there. And I put it in upside down. And backwards. And I think you'll notice if you do that, when you drive it, it'll drive pretty funny. Some cars is really strange how I've noticed when I come to fix some of them that people have accidentally mounted knuckles upside down or certain other things upside down. The car still drove. It's not very well, but it drove. Almost couldn't tell. Alright, so those are installed. Look at that. That's it installed. Completely installed. And now I just got to put wheels and suspension on it, and away we go. Or the shocks. So, and then I bolt my bumper back on and that kind of that stuff. So, all right, shocks. Oh, come on. Shocks, honestly. I'm doing this my way, the lazy way. This is if your fingers don't work or you're having trouble getting them on off. Use pliers and clamp it sideways and away you go. Alright, that's that. And this goes down here. Now I already have Reve-D, oh, hit the camera again. I already have Reve-D rear springs and Reve-D retainers, spring retainers. I also have 6-hole pistons and 50 weight oil in this car, so this thing jams. And now the rear end is as gelling as the front end. And I'm going to put my tires back on. Bolt these guys back on. And this will be a running car again. Just, I don't know how it's going to feel, but it's going to be interesting. I'll probably have to adjust my preloads because a lot of rear weight just changed here. Alright. That's installed. Put my battery wires back over. Alright. So, that's it. And I'm just going to put my rear bumper on now so I don't forget. And flip the car over. Doo-doo-doo. Bumper, bumper, bumper. Where did I put you now? Bumper, bumper, bumper. Oh, really, I literally was just looking at it. Oh, it's under the car. Haha. Alright. I love this driver thing, by the way. Taking this bumper off enough. Okay. That's that. Alright, so now I'm going to show you, so to demonstrate with the car on the table. So I haven't changed anything, suspension, the shock wise here, just left it all the same. So let's just see. Yeah, I still have my springy bounce, my spring sort of setup. I'm going to have to maneuver the camera, but I think I'll do a better comparison video at the track. But anyways, my front is unchanged. I haven't changed anything, but my rear, right now, the rear ride height changed significantly, and so I'm going to be modifying that. But I'll drive it just out of the box, like just set up out of the box from the manual, and then we'll just see how it goes from there. And then I'll do some tuning. But I do notice my ride height is a little bit lowered, and my car was already a bit rear biased in terms of the ride height positioning. So rear lower than higher, or like a rear rake, I think they call that. Anyways, yeah, so it's installed. It looks really good, actually. Looks really good. And there's the front side of one side with the suspension installed, all stock positioning. This I'm leaving, this positioning. That's my previous positioning, because I want to see the differences before I start tuning, but it looks like there's a lot of tuning option. And the rear active toe, which right now is not set to really do anything. It's not really doing anything. So I'm gonna be tuning that as well. So right now I think it's set inactive, whereas if I start changing things here, then we will get some action. All right, so that's that. It's all done. Thanks for tuning in, watching. I know it was kind of long. This is about an hour and a half video, only because I was talking about it and I unbagged it and talked a bit about the parts in the very beginning. So yeah, this install will probably take you half an hour to an hour, depending on how fast you go, how much other stuff you have to do, or if you're building in between a kit, it won't really matter because you're just doing it in the middle of the kit install. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to be making more videos of the rear end, showing it off, maybe mount a camera back here, showing it activating while running, and go from there. And I'm really excited to see how this goes, and I think a couple other guys will have this installed on their cars today, so we're all going to be tuning and inspecting it. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, if you've got one, or if you're thinking of getting one. Yeah, I like it, so away we go. And I'll see you guys next video, probably from video at the track. You'll see this in action again. And I'm excited to get Nikki jamming and retuned. Alright, thank you, and until next time, bye-bye.